Hello and welcome to the Coastal Edge Consulting channel. My name is Melissa Kettler. Today, I want to dig into something that, truth be told, is a bit depressing to share. And it's one of the clearest warning signs about what's happening inside workplaces. Employee engagement has hit an 11-year low. And if you're a leader or a part of a team that's been feeling tired, stretched, disconnected, or just not quite all there, you're not imagining it. There's real data behind this, and it has huge implications for the future of work. So let's talk about what's going on, why it's happening, and how leaders can navigate this without burning out or losing their teams. But before we get into all that, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. It really helps. Now, let's get into it. So let's start with the stats, because they paint a very clear picture of what's going on. According to Gallup's 2024 Global Workplace Report, only 21% of employees worldwide are engaged at work. Yes, you heard that right, only 21%. And that's down from 23% the previous year. That's the lowest in more than a decade. And in the US and in Canada specifically, engagement dropped to 31%, another 10-year low. And here's a bit more data to prove this employee experience epidemic. 62% of employees say they are not engaged. Another 17% say they are actively disengaged. So if you're doing the math, that means the vast majority of people are either barely hanging on or they're checked out entirely. Essentially, that 17% of people are just doing time. They're putting in the hours, but they're not invested, probably not trying very hard, and are likely daydreaming about the day they can hand in their notice. But the more interesting question is why? Why is this happening? Because this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening during one of the biggest shifts in how we work since the Industrial Revolution. There are essentially 5 big causes why this is happening. So the first one is unclear expectations and weak leadership support. Gallup found that only 46% of employees feel they clearly know what's expected of them, and only 30% feel someone at work encourages their development. That's not disengagement, that's disorientation. And it's something that leaders can rectify pretty quickly and with relatively little effort. Leaders themselves are under enormous pressure, often managing hybrid teams, growing workloads, mental health crises, and of course, change fatigue. So the leadership bandwidth, well, it's stretched pretty thin, and that trickles down fast. But it's entirely worth the time and the effort to invest in this. Check out my leadership article on the 3 rights of every employee that's linked in the description for some great tips to get you started. The second reason is chronic overload and burnout. Workloads skyrocketed during and after the pandemic. But here's what changed. The pace never came back down. Employees are reporting more emotional exhaustion, more personal stress, more blurring between home and work. Burnout is no longer episodic, it's structural. It's embedded into our workplaces, and it seems like it's just accepted as part of having a job. But I can assure you, at some point, this mindset will have to shift if retention issues continue to grow. The third reason is loss of meaning and connection to purpose. A huge theme in the data. People don't feel connected to the why behind their work. I think this reason is vastly underestimated. From my own experience, when I feel my job has value and impact, I feel energized and I want to put in the hours and the effort. I was once in a role related to the oil and gas industry, and I can tell you, the high salary and the promise of big bonuses did not do anything to help my frame of mind. After only 3 months, I resigned, even without having another job lined up. I just couldn't bring myself to spend one more minute in that depressing, overworked, and money-obsessed culture. It just wasn't a good fit for my own values. And in the end, it taught me a valuable lesson about what was important to me. And in hybrid and remote environments, mission and culture, they don't show up in hallway conversations. They have to be intentionally cultivated. Many organizations haven't adapted to that shift yet. Another reason is declining career growth and recognition. So many employees just feel stuck. They're not seeing clear paths forward. And the career ladders that used to exist have become foggier, they've become flatter, and definitely more competitive. I also think people have more expectations to move up quickly these days. In previous generations, career advancement wasn't an expectation, but more of an anomaly. Many people stayed in the same job for most of their lives. That's why it's so important to find out what employees really want, where they see themselves in 5 years. Without growth, engagement drops, and fast. Another reason is social disconnection, both inside and outside work. This one also matters more than people think. We are living in a time of rising loneliness and social fragmentation. That doesn't magically disappear when someone logs into a Zoom meeting. According to the U.S. Surgeon General 2023-24 report, loneliness is now considered a public health crisis. Nearly 50% of adults in the U.S. report experiencing meaningful loneliness on a regular basis. And young adults, 18 to 24, reported the highest levels, with nearly 60% saying they feel seriously lonely. There was a time when your job automatically gave you a built-in social circle, but for many people today, that's completely disappeared. Another reason for the disengagement shift is the future of workforces colliding. All of these reasons I've mentioned so far are valid on their own, but there's an even bigger story happening here. Employee disengagement is a symptom of a much larger shift. 3 major forces are shaping it. So force number 1, of course, AI and technology. These are reshaping work faster than humans can adapt. AI and automation are changing expectations of productivity, speed, and the quality of work. But here's the paradox. AI is making work more efficient, but people aren't feeling more effective. They're feeling overwhelmed and anxious. Why? Well, because leaders are asking for more output and more diverse skill sets, not fewer hours. Employees feel they should keep up with AI, which only increases stress. Job security anxiety is rising, especially in industries where AI can replace certain tasks. Some folks are already walking on eggshells, hoping their job isn't the next to be replaced. And organizations aren't sharing their plans for the future. Instead of augmenting employees, many organizations are unintentionally pressuring them or keeping them in the dark. And when people feel pressure instead of empowerment, of course engagement collapses. Force number 2, the blurring of work and life. I know this one might hit home for a lot of people with the current job and economic climate. We're in a time where personal stress, mental health struggles, and financial pressures are at an all-time high. Employees bring those pressures into the workplace because, despite decades of pretending otherwise, humans don't magically switch off their lives when they start their workday. This means leaders today must show more empathy, more flexibility, more attunement, and definitely more emotional intelligence than any generation of leaders before them. And force number 3, cultural shifts in what people want from work. Younger employees especially are asking, what's the point of this work? Do I feel respected here? Does this organization actually care about me? Is this work aligned with my life, or is it consuming it? This isn't entitlement. It's a generational recalibration of values. And if you think these questions are going to stop showing up, well, it's just the opposite. It's only going to get worse. The next generation is already questioning what the workforce options will be for them. And why will they need to go to university at all with the introduction of AI? People no longer see work as their identity. They want meaning, they want autonomy and balance and humanity from their leaders. When organizations don't adapt, disengagement becomes the predictable outcome. So what does all this mean for the future of work? The future of work won't be shaped by technology alone. It will be shaped by how humans feel at work. Engagement, belonging, clarity, and psychological safety are no longer soft skills. They're economic drivers. Low engagement leads to lower productivity, higher turnover, worse innovation, culture breakdown, failed change initiatives, leadership burnout. And this part is important. Organizations that ignore this engagement decline will fall behind, and fast. But there is good news. Organizations that respond with empathy and clarity and better support for their leaders and teams will become incredibly attractive workplaces in the next decade. So what can you do right now as a leader? Well, if you're a leader or an aspiring one, here's how you can help turn this around. First of all, you can only start with what is within your control. So that is an important tip to always go back to. Number 1, set incredibly clear expectations. Clarity is oxygen in hybrid work. Without it, disengagement is inevitable. Number 2, don't just check in. Really connect. Ask, how are you doing? And what do you need from me to feel supported this week? Small question, big impact. Number 3, reinforce the why. People do meaningful work when they understand the meaning. Help your employees see how their work connects to the greater outcome, whatever that might be. All work has some sort of meaning, but it's not always easy to connect the dots. Number 4, create micro growth moments. So not every development opportunity needs to be a promotion. Sometimes it's a stretch assignment, a challenge, or a chance to contribute to something visible. Number 5, use AI to reduce workload, not increase demands. This is the real future. AI that frees up humans, not AI that pressures them to produce more. They're going to be the ones that are going to be successful. Number 6, model the balance you want your team to have. Your behavior sets the cultural ceiling. It sets the tone. Self-care, transparency, vulnerability, and empathy are really good places to start. So in closing, employee engagement dropping to an 11-year low isn't just a stat. It's a signal. It's a signal that the way we work, the way we lead and connect, it's breaking down. But it's also a signal about where the opportunity lies. Organizations that invest in people genuinely, not performatively, they'll win the future of work. Because at the end of the day, high-performing organizations aren't built on technology or strategy or KPIs. They're built on humans who feel seen, supported, and connected to something that matters. And real connection is something that AI won't be able to truly replicate for a very long time. If you're interested in more videos like this about leadership, the future of work, and how leaders can thrive in a world of increasing complexity, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop me a comment. I would love to hear what you're experiencing in your workplace and the questions you have about the future of work. And tell me, what is creating disengagement in your workplace? Well, thanks for spending this time with me, and please come back for future videos. Don't forget to keep on striving. Bye for now.